as far as my other operators, Adrian, and we had a female photographer. I said, listen, do not go out there at all. We had our own trailer. Stay in the trailer. Do not go out there at all. It made me upset, right? The fact that they cannot control the crowd. It is what it is. I'm not going to risk my people. Like, we're not going to go out there for whatever shot because these people are just crazy. Welcome back to another episode of the iFilmmaker podcast. My name's Ariel Martinez. With us, Big Magic Harry Mike.
Yeah, I guess I have to adopt this name now. Get used to it.
That's you, man.
Yeah.
It'll be in the lower third, guaranteed.
My wife's going to kill me.
If you're watching us on YouTube, we have a slightly moodier setup.
Yeah, because I came in with a interesting mood today.
Yeah.
You just matched it.
There you go.
But I'm good now. I had the coffee. Thanks for having coffee.
Oh, so you're better
in
now.
Your studio. Yeah.
Good. Man. Today I thought we could discuss safety, right? Safety.
I wanted to discuss your legs today.
My legs.
Yeah, because like last time I brought my hairy white Latino legs.
Now I'm the one showing off the.
But you got like a really nice golf outfit going on.
We played golf today.
You played golf today?
For the first time.
What?
It was pretty cool. It's funny because I'm used to football, basketball. That's my background in sports. This is my first time, and I've gone to the range before, and I've gone to Top Golf. Top Golf is fun. Highly recommended anyone that wants to get into it because Top Golf, you get to have fun while learning if you play those games where you actually have to hit the targets.
Yeah. Which
helped me today. So
nice.
It's challenging.
How did your NFL body do with golf?
Pretty good. I got me a beginner set of clubs for $250 for the whole set.
Whoa. With
the bag.
That's really good.
That's all included.
Was that offer up or was that like?
No, it was at Dick's. I just went to a Dick's Sporting Goods, and they had them there on. So I can tell that it's a beginger set.
Yeah,
I can only tell just because of the price point, and I see comparison to all the other like the TaylorMades and the Callaways. I figured, you know what? If I'm going to learn and do a lot of mistakes and mess up, let me do it with the cheap set.
Yeah, of course.
And, it's great to start, but if I get into it, obviously I'll be upgrading. The first thing I bought that with a putter. So that was the first thing I got. And that was kind of upgraded. So I already passed that part. The next one will probably be the driver. Nice. But it's fun though. It's fun.
I bought my 3-year-old a plastic set. So
okay.
I can bring that out next time and I can join
Do
you.
it.
Yeah.
Do it. I think that'd be great.
That might show you up though with that. Yeah.
I could use it.
So you look good, bro.
Yeah. They don't let you play if you don't look the part. So that's culture. It's a golf tradition. You have to have the polo. You have to either have khakis or like no jeans are allowed. Like,
which is funny because we worked on a golf shoot together, and and you were like, yeah, just bring a polo and some nice shorts, and I'm looking at my closet, and I'm like, yeah, no. And so I had to run over to Dick's.
Yeah,
and so the first shoot we did, I bought like a Ross, get like a real like real affordable.
Great stuff there.
It's great, but right after that shoot, I snagged the thing, and the whole shirt was
gosh.
like it had stitches.
It messed up.
So then I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, got a nice one.
Yeah.
A little expensive, but that'll last me forever. Got some nice shorts, and I was ready. Today I'm wearing the typical studio production shoot outfit. Like this, it doesn't get safer than this. The very first lesson I learned about this setup, we were shooting a toaster, and it was one of those reflective toasters where it's all chrome. That's like shooting into a mirror. And I was wearing like this bright orange shirt.
Oh, man.
And anywhere I would go. Now, mind you, you control it. You do your best to kind of control it with, with diffusion and boards and everything.
Yeah.
But man, every once in a while I'd catch myself in the monitor. I'm like, I need to just be obedient and follow the trend. Culture.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that you have that experience. You have way more experience than I do working on big sets. Clearly,
just different. Yeah.
Just because, I'm not used to maneuvering that way.
Yeah.
Now, different. I think that's good that you have that because some things that I always overlook when it comes to production sets, especially my sets, is safety. And what I mean by that, I would never, purposely put anybody in danger. But I don't follow typical guidelines like putting sandbags on every single stand that's on my set, right? There's a lot of things that I overlook, and you've taught me quite a bit of stuff too. like that whole.
Hold on, did Ariel just say that?
Yeah, you taught me a lot of stuff. Like I learned a lot of stuff through you.
We need to somehow make this official and put it in the background right here. That's awesome, man. Right.
So a lot of that stuff, like all these rigs that I see you doing on the telescopic arm with the whole what's that called? The rope, the
with the safety. I use sash. Sometimes I use ratchet straps.
Okay.
Like the ones you use to like transport something on top of your car.
Yeah.
Just an extra measure of safety. Yeah. The last thing you want is something falling on someone. I think OSHA will show up and just start like Ramboing everything.
Yeah, but because I'm so used to working as a one-man band, so I set up my sets as I see fit.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there's a lot of people around, that's something that it's like I don't need to know that to know that I need a sandbag probably so this light stand won't fall. Yeah. Thankfully, I've avoided, injuries and mistakes like that. But, moving forward as I continue to acquire more gear, more expensive gear,
yes,
and just trying to keep safety on set, I'm putting booms over our talents and backlights, booming them over them, and we don't want anything to happen. So yeah,
I remember doing portrait. I remember doing portrait for a client once, and I had the light. Thank God it wasn't boomed out, but it was just, like on the C-stand, every once in a while, like you just don't tighten it just tight enough and it starts to loosen up. And I had to like go kadoosh right behind them.
Oh no.
Nothing happened to the light, but the scared face on that client, and it just wasn't worth it. That was one of those things it's one of those instant regrets. And then you're trying to play it off, but that shouldn't have happened. And from there on out, there's a little bit of tension that happened when I was first starting, and it wasn't fun, man. And so I try my best to avoid all those things. I double check a lot of things for safety.
Sure.
Just to go, I hate to do this to some PAs. You can kind of sense when someone's learning, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right. We've all been there. Sometimes I'll just go up and just check again. I tell them, look, there's no offense. I'm not trying to micromanage you. It's a safety thing. I'm just confirming everything's good on my set because I'm responsible for it.
So that's actually a good thing, because I think that when you recheck people's work, I do it all the time. It's a good practice to do. And if people take offense to that, I think that's definitely a character flaw. That should not be you. That's not going to help you. Yeah. So there's so many times where I thought that I've done something and I was so sure. I've been shown that I've overlooked things. Because I'm either moving too fast or just because it's already muscle memory, it can never not be taken care of. So when people recheck my stuff, but here I'm talking about skilled people that know what they're doing, right? So if I have, a newbie coming over here telling me like, hey, that's wrong, that's all right, guy, that
goes back to our podcast about staying in your lane.
Right. I definitely hold different people at different standards. I definitely consider people's advice, but I also consider where they are in their career, so it's definitely something that you don't want to overlook, especially safety. Now that's just a typical, sandbag on a light stand safety type of deal. What are some other safety precautions that you may or may have not overlooked, or you've seen on set where people do things that they should not have done? Everything may have turned out okay, but it could have gone south real fast.
Yeah, so I was actually talking to incredible DP Carlos Garcia, and he reminded me of a story. This is actually something I learned. So I was, in a sense, you hear this term classically trained, but I studied under, or all of those things. So I worked a lot with him when I first got started. And now he had 30 years of experience in photography and moved over to video and when you master lighting and you come over to video with that, oh my goodness. And I'm talking about he's a master.
Dang.
And so when I came in, I was training under him. But the great thing is he has so much photo and video experience, right? So one of the things I got to see in practice was when he told me, Mike, one of the most dangerous things to have on your shoot is to be given, and most people won't think about this, be given a photo assistant, a PA, to work on your video production. What I mean by that is, it is one of the most dangerous things to have someone who only knows stills all of a sudden be thrown into environment of video. Why?
Really?
When you work with hot lights, now I'm not talking about all this movement of LED lights that we have now. I'm talking about the big, the Mole Richardsons and the big lights. And Those lights are very hot. You have to understand how to handle them. You have to come at them with gloves. Then you have the grids, and sometimes you don't want to just pull them out with your fingers. Even sometimes with gloves on, you get like a Leatherman or something like that. Which, by the way, you should always have this on set.
I still don't have one.
Well, you're special, but I'm talking about like on a production set. This is a must, and if you don't have this, get off my set. But yeah, even with that, you grab those grids, with it because it's hot, and so we had a few times where they budget reasons or just someone's available to help us out on a video set. These poor kids, man, they get burned. They end up dropping the light, smashes it because they went and grabbed the light. And I understand these are things that maybe not every PA. I'm not knocking on photo PAs.
I am.
There's some things are common sense. And you know what? When there's anxiety on set, when there's tension, sometimes you forget your own basics, things you never forget. And we've had several times where it's just a disaster, man. So taking a classically photo trained production person, throw them on video in like their first time, even second, third, fourth, fifth, there's just things they have to get used to about video. It's just different from photography. Photography is a quick flash. Yes, the bulbs get hot, but it's nothing like working with a hot light. And so that's one of the tips that most people will never think about is when you're putting together a team, try if you can avoid it, not to have someone who is only trained on photo. Try to get someone who's trained on video to help as a PA at the PA level.
So what about yourself? Did you ever have a time where your own safety was at risk?
Yeah.
And you overlooked it so you could get the shot? I'm asking because I've done it before.
Overlooked it. Yeah, you're thinking about your own thing to get the shot. I know. I mean, I've had little things like I had a red on a head and didn't properly lock down that head.
Okay.
On a tripod, and that sucker started to swing back, and I had to pull one of those like Superman dives. Catch it because it had all this back heavy things on there. It was loaded.
But it was falling to the ground.
It was falling on the tripod head, and then I just wasn't sure if the head was gonna. It was not an approved head for that size camera, so I was already nervous, and that wasn't my decision. But yeah, I was scared about what was gonna happen there. But we caught it.
Yeah.
And that wasn't fun. And so try to play it off. Everything's good. Not good.
That's good. The story that I had, it was in Colombia. I was hanging halfway out of a moving van, one arm on the handle that's you find on cars all the time, and the other hand holding a gimbal. But I'm holding myself halfway outside the van as it's moving with one arm, like this, And but the funny thing is we weren't going that fast. We were going maybe 5 to 10 miles an hour. And then at one point we were moving, and this was like in the hills out there. We're trying to get these guys mountain biking down a road. Then at one point I said to myself, man, I could probably run faster than this, right?
Yeah.
So it was my bright idea, not wanting to stop, not wanting to reset anything. Let's keep moving. Just jump out of the van. So I jump out. Everything was fine. I jump out. I'm still rolling. I'm moving, and I'm moving nimble. It wasn't until I jumped back in without stopping again that I slipped on that. I didn't fall or anything. But I jumped back in. I guess wherever I put my foot, it must have slipped. I put it in the wrong place when I went back into the van. It was just a sliding door. I didn't have anywhere to grab myself, so I kind of slipped on my way in. Nothing happened. We kept moving. We were fine. My leg was halfway out, but nothing happened. But it's good. Obviously like an eye opener, right? Let's not do that again.
I had a mini crash on that Gente de Zona shoot with the flash mob that we talked about.
A mini crash?
A mini crash, right? Crashed into the back of the truck. So as I was going on the street, I'm with them. I'm below them shooting. You have the footage, and so I'm looking up at them, and so all of a sudden they're about to play to the audience. I didn't realize, they turned towards me to play to the audience. I'm right in front of them. I don't want to be in every news station shot, like right below them. So I'm like, let me get behind them and get up and maybe get on top of the truck, find a different spot. I thought the truck had stopped already.
Well, okay, so just for reference, this is a flatbed truck.
This is a flatbed truck.
And you're on the back of it.
I'm actually hanging pretty much right on the edge, right? Just getting a really cool shot.
You thought it was stopped, but it was actually moving slowly.
Yeah, because we were finally there. I thought we were there. We weren't. Man, he brake checked it, and I was already trying to get behind them, and I'm going right towards the back of the truck, and he brake checked it, and I went like this, and the camera, you try to always save the camera. Like, forget your life.
Describe what happened when it braked, because there's a lot of people mostly listening to this.
So I'm on the flatbed truck. I think we're finally stopped. Gente de Zona starts turning to start singing to the audience. I'm right in front of them. I'm like, this is the worst spot to be.
Yeah.
So I go in between both of them, like a little crowd, like crawling practically. I go to stand up, and I didn't realize the truck was still moving. It brake checked, and you ever get like, you got this force, G-force, it just drove me right into the back of the truck, and I had the camera in right hand, and I just kind of lifted it up like this and just trying to save it.
Your face smashed right into the...
I thought I was gonna be in memes all over the place.
That's
Thank
hilarious.
God nobody caught it, but I saw it. I was looking for it, but yeah, no, that was fine.
Wait. Is there a picture of that somewhere?
There's video, yeah. You guys have it, yeah. If you look closer, you'll see it.
Oh, you recorded it. Did Adrian record it?
Everyone recorded it. All the live streams.
We will be
Instagram.
Putting this on this episode right now as we speak about it.
All right.
Mike smashing right into the back of
I smashed my left side of my head right into the window, but I kept the camera safe, and I tried to play it off. I turned around as quick as I could. The security guard tried to help me. He saw it happening.
That's hilarious.
He's like, "Are you right?" Oh man, that was nuts. So that's my minute crap. Speaking of vans, I had an experience with one of my clients. We were in Arkansas, and we wanted to get this truck moving shot, and I had the gimbal, right, and all that good stuff. So we went to rent a van. Well, when we rented a van, we realized something. And I was looking at, I think, between a Chrysler and a Dodge van. And I noticed, and this is a little test, so this is something to think about. If you plan on doing a shot where you're going to open up the side, the side sliding door, some cars don't let you do that while moving.
Okay.
So we specifically
tested it. I know where this is going.
And thank God we picked the right one, where sometimes when you turn the car on, it locks. The door's locked, and it won't let you open. For this one, it allowed that to happen.
Because think about it, that's meant for moms with kids.
Yes, it's a major safety thing. But for production, screw that.
Yeah,
we don't need that.
I get safety. It. Yeah.
And so that was one cool tip to know when having to rent cars. Just make sure that whatever vehicle you have, it has the flexibility to do what you're going to ask from it. And for my particular shoot, I needed a side shot. So we did a trunk open shot.
Yeah, it seemed 40, like the perfect car for that.
It was perfect with the van, sliding glass, sliding door, and it was awesome, man. But the other van that we looked at originally, it just wouldn't go while moving. So.
What do you think of getting a car like that, like a specific, like an old van, seats all out, but the purpose of that van is not only to take gear, but to shoot out of it, right? Yeah. So imagine a nice van, but with actual harnesses and whatever you need to do
it right. Yeah, because you really shouldn't have a person holding your belt,
right? But then really rig it up so that you can attach whatever harness you need to and all that. Cool.
It's cool. That comes down to whether you're gonna have enough clients to pay for a cool idea like that. It's if you can afford to just make an investment like that because it doesn't hurt you. But for me, it's like every investment I make, it needs to pay itself off. And if I don't see a clear vision of that, I'm not gonna do it. But it sounds like a great idea if you do that.
Right?
A lot.
No, 100%. Everything I buy comes with that, right? Yeah. So if I see that I'm about to do some good work with Toyota or Chrysler or whatever, a car dealership, let's say, that could be something that would be worked into the budget, right?
That's
so to rent that out, but you just include that as if I'm not asking the client, do you need this? I'm including this into my invoice so
you can get the shot the way you want to get it done.
Exactly.
At the quality level you want. Yeah.
Assuming they have the budget for all that stuff,
The last thing I learned in studio is anytime you hang any kind of light, you want to put a safety chain on it. And I'll never forget, we were shooting a very famous basketball player. And the crew that I jumped on board with, they just weren't trained for these kind of shoots. And I saw that light hanging right above this very, very famous basketball player. And
oh my God.
And I'm just looking at it, and it wasn't even properly, it was Mickey Mouse. It was rigged. It wasn't done right. Even the whole from C-stand up, it just wasn't right. It was just rigged. And I'm thinking, man, if this were to fall, I don't even know if this production company even has insurance for this shoot. I was stressing out a little bit about it because of my background.
Sure.
You know, but we've had lights with the safety chain come off on a grid that is like 20 to 40 feet high. I don't know how high the grid was, and had slipped off, and it caught.
And that was put by an experienced gaffer,
Yes.
probably.
Yep. And things happen. I'm not saying that never happened again. In the, I don't know, 8 years I was working in that particular studio, it was only once. So it's a good percentage. But still, it takes that one time for something bad to happen. I'll never forget in terms of safety.
Yeah.
For those kind of shoots, you typically build your set. So whatever the set is, it's like you don't go to... We try to rent homes as much as possible, but they just don't have the control. So we can't just light it the way we want. So you can just put a light over the wall of a bedroom. So we just build it out. And when I say we, it's not me, but we have a whole crew for that. And one day, the crew didn't properly secure one of the walls. And so when the art department got involved and they started dressing the walls, this wall particularly was holding a lot of things. And this wall was getting heavier and heavier. We're mounting more things. And next thing you know, it's starting to bow. And we're like, that doesn't look like the right angle for that wall. And you just start to hear that thing creaking. And it's about to just drop. All of us that caught it, we were running to that wall. And we created like, one of those things where everyone's like holding onto the wall and trying to push it back. No. And it wasn't properly secure from the back. And that's one of those things, like, who do you blame? It's not about that. It's just like, we got to get this right next time.
Yeah.
And secure this now moving forward.
Potentially
but
dangerous.
That was because you have actors sitting. What if the actor was in the middle of their set? And what if it wouldn't have crept in quite, little by little? What if it just would have gone?
Oh, my God.
God forbid. So those little things, man, it's like you have to think. And here's what happens. A lot of times, this is why pre-light is so important. A lot of people just want to go for it the morning of, and like, we'll just get there 3 hours before, an hour before, and we'll just start doing stuff. Depending on the size of the shoot, you need a full pre-light day or even two, or even more. But you have to be careful not to rush things, because safety is such an important thing that most people don't think about, and you want to try to be as safe as possible and double check things. Yeah. Take your time. I've learned so many cool knots from gaffers and grips. Trucker's hitch, clove hitch.
See, that's all these I gotta learn those. I don't know, not one. I just know how to tie my shoes.
Well, if you don't need to, just hire the right person to do it. Well, not tie your shoes, because that would be a little egotistical. But I got this guy on set. What's his job? To tie my shoes when they get loose. That's where I'm at. But yeah, so it's good to just take your time. A lot of times, you can get very frustrating on set. Maybe some anxiety goes up, or whatever's happening. An actor, this, or clients, like, clients can get crazy sometimes. Yeah. And you rush things, and that's where you make mistakes. It could be something you know how to do, but you're just rushing it, and so it's just not worth it. Take your time, think things through, maybe get help.
So last story here, Triller Fest. We had a big crew of people. There was 2 days. The first day was the rappers. It was Lil Wayne, it was Tyga, it was 2 Chainz, and Tekashi 6ix9ine, which I'm not a big fan of. Day 2 was just Gente de Zona, the concert that you helped promote.
And Mark Anthony was there too, right?
Mark Anthony, I'm sorry. Yes, Mark Anthony was out there as well. Also Chino and some other Latin artists. So very different crowds. The rap crowd and the Latin salsa crowd, very different.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Holy cow, it was different. But anyways, that's not my point. We had a jib out there. We had a ton of operators out there. We had PAs, photos, whatever it is, drone operator. Basically, the rap crowd got very too rowdy, way too rowdy.
They got into it.
But here's the thing. It was a mistake on the people that put this together, because they decided it's a good idea to put the VIP section directly in the front row, a big sectioned off place in the front of the stage, in a very front stage. And they just fenced it off with barricades that you could easily move, right? And there were like 20 people there. And there were hundreds of people on the outside barricades. And these rappers are getting rowdy and rowdy and rowdy. My jib operator was planted right in the VIP section and operating his jib. No protection around him. And then as the rappers go and start performing, you know how rowdy they get? They get crazy. And they get the crowd amped up. Before you know it, these people just broke in through all the barricades. These security guards are not going to stop a crowd of hundreds of people rushing in. And so thank God that I was there, because they were coming. My operator had his back toward them. And I'm like, holy cow, these guys are rushing in full speed. So I stood behind my operator as he kept operating, because this couldn't, I guess he couldn't stop. And I kind of I had him in front of me and I was right behind him.
You went linebacker on everybody, huh?
I went linebacker on everybody. But so a lot of people started running into my back, right? Oof. But I just had to kind of keep my stance, bent knees locked off, and just so that they don't hit my operator. Whatever, everything happened. People got run over. People started falling. It was chaos. And
probably awesome for them though.
No, they loved it. And then the performers, the rappers, all these people were encouraging more of that. Of course, yeah. They were encouraging all that. It was just chaotic. And then the funny thing is that I went out and got before that happened, I got barricades to put it just around the jib operator. Mm-hmm. The security guards took those barricades to help keep the crowd back. Mm-hmm. So there was no barricades for my guy. And it still didn't work. Wow. So what I had to do was, through the crazy rowdy crowd, I went and picked up each one of those barricades. It was 3 of them. I had to go. Imagine these huge barricades. I had to move them around these people. So what I had to do was I literally started pushing people with the barricades. I picked them up. I started pushing.
You go WWE on them?
At this point, I was so upset. I was super upset. So I started pushing people back. For the most part, everybody, I don't want to say they were respectful, but they did not resist, right? Okay. So they see that I'm pushing them back, they stayed back. And I was able to put all 3 barricades back for a little bit. And then they got a little tighter and tighter and tighter. And to the point where I went to speak with my client, which is, the whole producer of this thing. And this is the funny thing. I go to my client, he's chilling, sitting in his trailer because he's exhausted. He's so funny. He's exhausted. As I walk in, he's like, "Hey man, how's your operator? Is he still alive?"
Oh my gosh.
I was like, yeah, dude, it's pretty chaotic, because he was running around all day and just putting out fires everywhere. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think so. and then I told him, look, man, I think we're going to have to kill the jib, because I can't keep him out there knowing that he's surrounded by these people. And Tekashi 6ix9ine, the craziest one of them all, has not even performed yet. This guy has not gone out yet. And I made the call. I said, listen, we're going to kill the jib. We're just going to live with the 2.
Just locked it off?
So what we had to do, I could not bring the camera down so that I could stop recording. Unfortunately, I told him, look, lock up the jib way up there so nobody can touch it. Keep the camera pointed down at the stage, and that's it. That's all they get. Yeah. You guys are gonna have to get out of there, because I'm not gonna risk their safety. Yeah. As far as my other operators, Adrian, and we had a female photographer. Mm-hmm. I said, listen, and a female PA. Do not go out there at all. We had our own trailer. Stay in the trailer. Do not go out there at all. Wow. Because man, it made me upset, right? The fact that they cannot control the crowd. It is what it is. I'm not going to risk my people. We're not going to go out there for whatever shot, because these people are just crazy. I have no idea what they're capable of. I've never been in a concert where they get that rowdy. I'm not a concert person.
And you're responsible for the safety of
your crew. I am responsible for them. So it was my call. My client didn't get mad or anything, but even if they did, I would not care. It
was justified.
It was absolutely justified. So I would never I'd risk myself before I would risk anybody else. Yeah. So I made that call.
That's a crazy safety story, man.
No, yeah. And, I'm perfectly comfortable handling people myself, but I don't expect anybody else to have to do that on my sets when I hire them. So that's just a call that I had to make. But thank God everybody was fine. Everybody was safe for the most part. The crowd, as crazy as they got, they got crazy and rowdy with the music. But for the most part, whenever I told people to stay back and stand back and, stay away from him, they did.
Well, they get why.
They see the guy working. So, but everyone's trying to get closer and closer to the stage and all that stuff. It was just too rowdy. It was just not planned properly. That's all. One of the things that I have found, and this is not exactly a safety thing, but you mentioned the pre-light and all that. One thing that I've been doing lately, and when I say lately, I mean the past 6 months. I've done it before because I was forced to do it from the client. But one thing I have really enjoyed doing, because it allows me to prepare more for the upcoming shoot, is the tech scout, which is so standard. It's so standard, right? But you don't think about that as a freelancer, as a one-man band. Sometimes they're not paying you for that, so you don't even think about doing that. You don't want to take that extra step and initiative to go on a day before or whatever, at some point before the shoot, to know the location, the area of where you're going to be shooting. But that allows me to do is a couple things. Prepare I can visualize the shot better. Then I can know exactly what equipment I need, so I know how to prepare. And I feel so much more confident walking into the shoot, knowing exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have to try and figure that out and get creative on set. If I need to, I will do that. But whenever I can help it, I'll try to do a tech scout to make sure I have exactly what I need.
Yeah, one of the most important things for me is like the first thing I'm doing is where's the sun going to be at the time that we want to shoot it.
That's good.
I get my app out. There's so many apps.
Knowing the time of the shoot. And if you can help it, and I learned this from Mark Bone, documentary filmmaking. Shout out to Mark. I had him on the show before. His method for a typical one-day shoot and B-roll, like interview B-roll type of day thing, show up early in the morning when the sun is down and get as much B-roll as you can early in the morning.
Soft light.
Those beautiful shots with the sunrise, get the flares that you need. Beautiful. Once that's done, then let's go inside. Let's get that interview locked in. I mean, unless you plan on doing like a 2, 3, 4, 5 hour interview, I would suggest wait till the afternoon, around 5 o'clock here, 6 o'clock, whatever, when that sun gets closer and closer to golden hour, and you get some more of that B-roll stuff that you're getting, even if it's coming through the window. It's beautiful.
Yes.
So
I love that you totally followed the plan perfectly in the sense of like the production rules. I was on that shoot with you, and I was watching you talk to your client. I was like, yes, I love what he's doing, because you get all the outdoor stuff in the morning.
Yes. That
right at like 11ish or 11:30 to like maybe 1:30. That sun is scorching. It's nuclear.
Yeah.
So let's do everything inside. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I love working with people.
And you see the final product.
Oh, it's beautiful,
gorgeous.
And then you get back out there.
And then you get back out there later on. And I was even trying to tell them, we're gonna have a gap. If we want to avoid shooting at 3 o'clock, 2, 3 o'clock, let's go have a 2, 3 hour lunch or whatever. I'm willing to do it, and my crew, we'd be willing to do it if we can wait so that we can get the shots later and then make them more beautiful. Because I'm more interested in delivering a beautiful product, than something where we can just get it done and over with that day, Yeah.
That's great, man.
And I think that, anytime you can help it, try to make that work. But yeah, it's something. If you guys, if people have the option, if your client is saying, how long do you need to work? How long do you need to set up? Or this is typical freelance stuff. When your client's saying, hey, can you do this? All right. If you have the option, try to get that beautiful sunrise. Get there early, 7 o'clock in the morning. Make call time 6:30. 7 o'clock, setting up, whatever it is, get those beautiful shots, because that's going to be amazing when your client sees that,
I was in Iowa once, and I had a crew. It was my gig for my client, and I had a crew of four people, and it was freezing cold. It was icicles everywhere. It had lightly snowed, but it wasn't that great, and it was more like that hard. Now, I'm not in that world, so I don't know what all these terms are called, icicles and everything, but I'm looking at a hay barrel, right? One of those big huge hay barrels.
Oh wow.
It's like it's very Iowa. All there is cows,
right?
So I'm out there and I'm getting the sunrise over a beautiful a beautiful barn like that red barn that you kind of think about when you're a kid. Like,
with the white outlines.
Yeah, it was great. It was kind of like that, and I was like, wow, I got it. So I told my crew, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go out there because it's my client. I want to make sure I get the most I can out of the production. And so I get out there, and I was able to get the hay barrel with icicles melting as the sun was coming up.
Oh.
And I was like, now, if you would have looked at me, I was dying. I was freezing. I had the biggest jacket I could buy. And I was like, the whole time, is this worth it? And then I'm praying to God, please let the shot be what I hope it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Was it a time lapse?
It was a time lapse. Sorry. It was a time lapse. Sorry. Yeah. It was a time lapse. And I got the icicles melting as the sun was coming out. It was cool. But nice. I was dying. But it's one of those things. It's like, if it's going to help, you know? And I had sent my crew out to where we're going to film. And I went out there and got that done real quick.
Yeah. Getting a nice shot is not just standing there and pointing your camera, man. It's knowing when to do it and then fighting to do it, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I have to convince my clients now, let's do it at this time. Let's do it this here, this there, in order to get the best shots possible. This goes down to like, so I preach a lot. You're serving your clients. Serve your clients what they need, what they want, right? But it's up to you as a creator, as the creative person on set, to give them the best possible product. So put in front of them the possibility that this can be even better if we do it this way, right? At the end of the day, if they say, no, it has to be done at this time, there's nothing you can do. Yeah. Try to work with that. Get diffusions if you need to, whatever it is, whatever boards, if it is what it is. But, when you have the option, always go that route. Go the extra mile to try to get a better shot, and
I think the clients can appreciate when you're giving them options to bring better quality, and let them decide from there, especially if they're not production people. It's a point of education as well. Yeah. But I think they can appreciate when you're going, hey, listen, we have 3 options to make this even better and even more for what we can do with our time and talent.
Yeah. And then, the tech scout that I did, even if it's through Zoom, I did a tech scout through Zoom that resulted in like one of my favorite interviews that I've ever lit, where I was able to put a light outside because I knew that there was a window in this one corner, right? I posted it not that long ago where I was able to shoot a nice bright Fresnel, the Forza 500. I posted it on social media through a light to simulate sunlight, and it was just gorgeous. I would have never known that I'd have that option had I not seen the space before, and seeing the angle and whatnot. I knew that was going to be great, and knowing, and then that room had blackout shades. So I took advantage of that as well. So it was awesome. It was phenomenal. So when you can, definitely tech scout helps, and it might be a drag sometimes. It might be like, man, you're not getting paid for this. But if I would suggest, listen, the people that are making it happen are the people that are doing more than what they're getting paid to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Put it that way.
In the production world of studio work, you definitely want to push to get paid for that time. That's kind of the standard.
100%
to get paid for it. But if you're doing like a lot of independent stuff and there's just no budget for it, you might as well just go for it, you know, and just get it done because it's gonna help at the end of the day.
Always try to get paid for it. Don't even if it means like, hey, this is always gonna be included in my invoice. You could get to the point, and I might start doing this too, but you can get to the point where any quote that I give includes a tech scout, no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that. Yeah.
And we have to, and that's the price. And they're going to get the overall price. It's going to be a line item, whatever it is. But you know what I like about adding things like that? Because now you have negotiation. Now you have ways to, if they say that that's too much, well, all right, well, maybe I'll bring I'll waive the tech scout fee, whatever it is. You have bargaining chips now if you need to negotiate with your clients.
And they can appreciate things like that.
And they do appreciate things like that. It's something that costs you nothing, right? But they can see that you're trying to help them as well. So I would make it a standard fee. I would just always include it. A tech scout, whatever it is, a 1 hour tech scout. That's included in this whole project.
Considering you don't have a job for that day before or something like that,
right? And no, and that's that. Yeah, you schedule that however you see fit. Even if it has to be through a Zoom call. Yeah, you schedule that however you need to. But it definitely helps. I would highly recommend anybody to sort of do that.
It helps a lot.
Anyways, this was a great episode.
It was.
I think we covered a lot of safety. If you guys have any questions regarding safety or anything else, any crazy stories, let us know. Send us a message over at iFilmmaker Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook. You could check out Mike on Instagram.
TN Studios Inc.
At TN Studios Inc.
The handle. TN Studios Inc.
With an S. Studios, right?
Studios, yeah.
We'll have the on
it's right there.
It's down below.
Yeah.
Down below. And you can follow me at Ariel Martinez Films on Instagram as well. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the iFilmmaker Podcast.